Hi everyone, this is part 2 of the pegboard toy project. In part 1 you created an assembly of the tabletop, the round peg and the square peg, and you made sure to save that assembly. And we are right here in the document. And please be aware that this area of the document does have some information that may be useful. It talks about a few dimensions that we'll use in part 2, as well as some images that may be helpful. So please draw your attention to this part of the document if necessary. And go ahead and open your assembly in Inventor. And we'll get started creating the end pieces. In part 2, we will be making end pieces. Once your assembly is opened in Inventor, we're going to go to Create and click. You can call this piece that we're making, it's actually a part that we're making, you can call it ends. You can use just that word ends, but I've done it a few times now, so I'm going to have to include a number like 10, but you can just call yours ends. And then say OK. And then make sure your assembly is facing you so that this long edge here is facing you, because that's the and actually I should say this face, this long face of the tabletop, that's what you want to select. So if you need to adjust the view cube, you don't want this, you want this long face, okay? And you're going to click it, and you notice that it grays out, and we have this new part that we're working on that appears in the browser, and we're ready to start a 2D sketch. When you click 2D sketch, the screen flips around and you have a choice of planes. You want to choose the plane that is parallel to this face. Okay? For me, that's the XY, but just double check. Notice that that highlights in white and it is parallel with this face. For me, it's the XY. It moves around. Use the view cube so that this piece is facing us again. So if you are lucky enough to have this yellow dot at a corner of your face here, that's good. If not, you can still start sketching. It just kind of helps give us a starting point when that yellow dot is at a corner. If the yellow dot is not at a corner, it is okay. You'll be fine. You'll just have to ensure that you are trying your best to get your first segment at a corner. So we're going to use line and start at a corner. If you have the yellow dot, use it. If you don't have the yellow dot, that's fine. Just start at a corner. I'm going to click once at the corner and start moving my mouse up. Once I've started to move my mouse up, I'm going to type in, before placing my second endpoint, type in 0.75 and press enter. And it makes that segment for me. I'm going to start moving my mouse again. I did not have to click again. I've just started to move my mouse so it knows I want to make a segment off to the right. And I'm going to type in 0.375 and click, press return or enter. I'm going to start moving my mouse up. This you don't have to type in a dimension. Just kind of roughly go up about an inch or so. That should be good. There's nothing specified for this length, so just roughly an inch should be good. And click. I'm going to start to go off to the left. And I want that segment to be 0.75. Enter. I'm going to start to go down. Make sure they're straight. I want the height here to be 3.5. Enter. Off to the right down here, 0.75, enter. Start to go up. Can zoom in to make sure you're right on there. Go off to the side and it should be 0.375, and it is. So I have a closed face that I drew, and I can see all these edges. It needs to be closed before we can extrude, and everything is there and looks good. It doesn't matter which end you start on. If you had started on the right end here, doesn't matter. You can do that as well. I'm going to go ahead and make my second end piece. I'm going to start right at the corner, and I see, it's hard to tell, but there's a little dotted line that shows up that tells me I'm doing it properly. And I'm going to go up 0.75 and press enter. I'm going to go over 0.375, enter, up until I see that dotted line, click, over 0.75, hit enter, down until I see my dotted line, come on, click, over until that line appears. Now it's getting a little easier because everything is auto aligning. You notice that, much easier than before. Everything looks good. I have two closed shapes. I'm going to click Finish Sketch. Flips around again. Feel free to use the View Cube to get it properly formatted. Let's go to Extrude under the 3D Model tab. Click my left end piece. Click my right end piece. I'm going to change the direction, and I'm going to make sure I extrude to 3 inches. Click the green check mark. Mouse around, and I am looking pretty good. Let's change the material and the color, and I want something like silver maybe. Let's see if we can find it. Steel? Let's try steel. That's just gray. That's not very fun. Tropical. That's pretty nice. All right, I'm going to go over here to Global Update. Click that. Just make sure everything gets updated. I'm going to click Return. Ooh, this color is interesting. It's kind of see-through, but that's okay. iPro, Save As. That's my assembly, so let's see. Let me go back and save these end pieces. So if you already did return, you can just go back or undo. And let's just make sure we save these end pieces. Save as, ends 10, save. It may give you an error, so you can say updated, because I know that's my final version, or final, something like that. Save. And now I can do return. And they're kind of clear. I'm going to change the color. It's bothering me. Don't like tropical blue. Water bubbles. That's interesting. Let's try that. Save the color. Return. All right. So all that's left is to constrain these pieces because I've saved them, but they're still not attached to my assembly. Okay, so I'm going to go to Constrain, and I need to do 2 mate constraints. So first, I'm going to do this inner face. You can zoom in, the face, not an edge, but the face. Click once, use the View Cube, and I want to mate that face to the face of the tabletop. Click Apply. I still need to do a second face, so I'm going to do this lower ledge and move around till I get the underneath of my tabletop. Apply. Zoom out. So everything's looking pretty good. I just want to make sure my edges are flush. They're appearing flush, but just in case, I'm going to go to Flush here and make this outer edge flush with this outer edge, and click Apply. Let's see if I can do it on the other side just in case. Flush, flush, apply. So now I have everything in place. My pegs move properly. My ends are secure. iPro, save as. I'm going to save my tabletop assembly, and I'm going to modify it to say final version or final. Say save.